Okay, we have a sound. Dandavats, Kumkum Devi, Paramananda, Sivarupa, Bimal Krishna Prabhu, Istadevika Devi, Chintamani, Anthony, Lavanyamai, Harini, Muktinath Prabhu. Dandavats to everyone. So, Maharaj is supposed to be here. He's around. We can start. Maybe he can show in the meantime. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, Mini Vandana, Vandeham, Shri Guru, Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam, Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha, Shri Rupan Sagrajatam Sahagana, Ragunatam Vitantam Sajivam, Sadvaitam Savadutam, Harijana Sahitam, Krishna Chaitanya Devam, Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitanscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitanjena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Mahavandanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namri Gora Trishe Namaha Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sarigora Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hello. More devotees are joining us. Aparadita Didi, Dandava Pranams. Our special Srilekha is here also. Dandava Pranams, good to see you. So, as a report here from Brazil, we are in the northeast of Brazil. It's a good, similar weather, similar environment to Thailand. It's very hot and a lot of beautiful people here. The people are always smiling on the streets. We can have a good conversation with them all. They're going to treat you very well. And the vegetation, the sails on the streets, the beach also, it's very beautiful. It's a good reminder of Thailand, Malaysia, and even India also with the chaotic traffic, and some drivers are not so very well drivers. But yeah, it's a good reminder, and we are here with our host Malati Priya Didi. She's a very enthusiastic old lady. I don't know, it's a good term, old lady. She's very experienced, and in life, she really a good, successful business lady. She had a clinic, really successful in the business area, and really it's a beautiful, really inspirational for us because she could just relax, stay at home, enjoy her rest of her life. But no, she's here tolerating the devotees, invading her house, and this Hare Krishnas, this noisy Hare Krishnas always doing some some noises and transcendental vibration in her house, and she's really enjoying. It's a really a good reception from us here. We are around 30 devotees here. We are doing a lot of programs. Yesterday we had a public program, a really beautiful public program the public was very receptive, doing a lot of questions, and to see them all like really interested in the Krishna consciousness topic. Even they had a different vision, because really we dress different. We do some marks in our hat. We sing some different names. This is really strange for the general public, but the message is there. And Srila Madhusudan Maharaj always giving emphasis in the message, like love, affection, really trying to give ourselves to the others. And it's Krishna consciousness is beautiful because of that. It's we can accept every religion, and every religion is accommodating in the Krishna consciousness, and the public and the general public, they can understand that. There was a guy that asking about the how he can he become like the Hare Krishna, and without abandoning the San Francis of Assisi. He recognized some similarities, and Maharaj is beautiful explain the similarities, and really it's a big example, San Francis of Assisi, of piety and really the sacrifice. And the Krishna consciousness is based on that, right? Sacrifice and live for the others, and always having this mood of living for the others, serving the others. It's beautiful. And I think this is a bit of news here. I'm trying to waiting for him to appear. Anyway, anyhow, we have a lot of senior devotees here. We can maybe do some questions to Kumkum, Paramananda, Srilekha, Bimal Krishna Prabhu is here also. Maybe they can eliminate our life. Anyway, Kumkum Didi, maybe you can share something with us. Since you're already here, and please, if you have something to share, I don't know, if you need some question, we can find some question. Dandavat pranams.
My dandavat to you, Prabhu, to Paramananda, Srilekha Didi, Bhimo Krishna, all of the devotees who are here. I see Lavanya Moy too. I am missing your association so much and your example of service. And Seva Rupa and Aparajita Devi Dasi. Perhaps this fall we will meet in Thailand. And I'm still on kind of a funny schedule, and was just listening to the BBBC classroom a few days ago, and I found it so inspiring. It reminded me of how most people go through some question at some point about chanting japa and other daily sadhana practices that we might not always be completely inspired to do. So we always appreciate those things which encourage us to keep that up, but with some meaning, even though we don't expect that we are experiencing deep emotions at this time with that. But we want to have some sense of determination to continue this happily. And so for that, we can always turn to the Association of Devotees. And I was very inspired by all of the comments last time about chanting japa, and I highly recommend that everybody listen to that regularly. But there's one way that I always feel myself to be more inspired, and that is by thinking about what our practices are not. And that is, in this world, we have many things which are drudgery, frankly. We don't want to do, but we must. Like, we have to pay bills. We have to pay taxes, perhaps. We have to take care of our teeth. We have so many things that if we don't, there'll be a bad reaction. And so we develop a sense of dread about certain tasks. and how Krishna consciousness is so not that. And specifically chanting japa, we hear that so much. Do not let your beads fast, and always chant minimum 4 rounds every day. And so how is this not that? And there's one particular quote, very famous quote from it's in Sri Guru and His Grace. It's quoted in many places, that always makes me feel completely inspired. And this is from Sri Guru and His Grace, the introduction. Let's see, I think it's a few paragraphs down. And thinking about the difference in just a chore that we have to do. If we don't take out the trash, then we're not going to have enough places to put the additional trash. So how this is not that at all. This is a gracious grant, is the words that Guru Maharaj uses here. And it's an honor, even though we're not seeking honor, but we feel very blessed when we realize that our gurus and the Vaishnavas are inviting us to this incredible association, which is nowhere else in the world except for Vaishnava Sangha. So this is the quote, this paragraph that begins, "A bona fide disciple must always remain fully awake to the fact that his highest spiritual fortune is but a gracious grant from the Absolute Lord, and not a matter of right to be demanded or fought out. Constitutionally, we are equipped only to be proper recipients of God's favor. In this connection, it should be clearly understood that an individual soul can never be substantially the same as the absolute person. Not even in his liberated or fully realized condition can an individual soul be one with Godhead. The misconception of oneness has been introduced from the slothful non-discrimination of the absolute personality, from the luminous orb around his eternal, spiritual, and blissful home. In fact, an individual soul constitutes only a part of a particular power of intermediate value of the Supreme Lord, and as such, he is capable of being converted from both sides. He differs from the absolute entity both in quantity and quality, and is merely a dependent entity on the absolute. In other words, the absolute Lord Krishna is the master, and an individual jiva soul is his constitutional subordinate or servant. So this particular quote here always helps me to get back to the great honor that it is, the great fortune. It's simply the grace of our Guru that we're invited, we're given the holy name to chant. So I find it very encouraging.
Very beautiful, Kumkum. No words. And talking about the holy name, we had a few initiations here yesterday. More devotees are joining the family, and it's very beautiful to see the how Srila Madhusudan Maharaj is engaging everyone, and everyone has such good mood, even if they didn't receive initiation yet, they had the mood. And it's a matter of fact that he just gave the name and really give the connection. It's really beautiful. And to see the mood of the new devotees here, also Tunga Vidya here recently received her name, her new name. And it's really beautiful to see the mood of the devotees and the connection with the holy name. Here in Davaneshwari also really all back to the basic participation participated anyway. So we can listen, you can hear a bit from maybe Paramananda Prabhu. I don't know if you're has something to share,
I
continue
think
the theme.
we can go to Srilekha Didi. That will be appropriate.
And Srilekha?
But I was thinking, oh, I want to hear from Paramananda Prabhu. But if you insist, Prabhu, I'm. What would you like me to say or talk about?
The usual, Srilekha Didi.
What was that?
The usual.
Oh, how mysterious is the infinite. Deeper and deeper. I mean, just we're only scratching, well, you could say scratching the surface of any understanding, but the understanding will be that no one can wrap their head around the infinite. But as Kumkum was just saying, which is so touching, it has been a gracious grant. So it is personal. The Lord's dealing with every living entity is personal and always gracious and always affectionate. And sometimes we can come to forget that because, well, you know, we have our warning from Srila Rupa Goswami that we can become so much engrossed in certain activities that that we forget that those activities are helping us towards something deeper. I'm trying to remember the verse. What is that second verse? Anyway, in the Upadeshamritam. But anyways, we're trying to always be on the lookout for the signs and that are coming from the divine environment to help us to change our angle of vision, not once, but many, many, many times. Because we are in our present condition, we cannot properly approach the infinite. And so Guru is eternal. Guru is the principle of the Lord's coming again to connect with the jiva. Why would he want to? It's just his very nature to be affectionate to us. And so Guru is coming in so many different forms. And it's very important, but that principle of Guru is always there. And Guru Maharaj is explaining that when it is said that if the disciple does not become perfect, the Guru will return. That means Guru will come again. That principle of the Lord approaching the jiva will come again. So I'm just so pleased and so grateful for what Kumkum Devi has written. I mean, read that this gracious grant, we have to remember that all existence is coming in the form of sweetness and grace. And although in our prejudice, mind, we put a limit on what is gracious and what is bad. This is our insanity, and we are trying to remember that all things, all animation, all existence is dancing. Only I'm not dancing. And it's my own decision. So again, I'm just touched by what Kumkum Devi just read, and just to remember that this is personal. It's not like, well, I'm practicing Krishna consciousness and I'm doing this and that. We always have to remember this sweet grant that's been given to us, and always get desperate. Just be desperate. Pray desperately that you know that I'm lost, but don't let me go. Keep me on this path. As Jamunacharya said, Guru Maharaj was saying, and maybe I've quoted this before, but Srila Jamunacharya said, my Lord, I am now making this decision. I am writing this out. This is my final testament that I only want you. And if I ever want anything else, don't give it to me. That's just super sweet for me to remember that. So we want to be desperate. And whenever some things are happening that are very difficult for us, just approach the Lord. My Lord, you are the cause of all causes. This is very difficult for me, but you are so merciful to me. Just give me your protection. Show me what my service is now. Show me that my service is being adjusted by you, and let me go in that current. Anyway,
Hare Krishna. No words, Srilekha. Amazing. So, Paramananda, I think it's your time now. Please.
I wonder where is Maharaj. I was hoping he will show up. I was delaying, like Ravana said, what is auspicious must be done immediately. And that's been already done. But what is inauspicious must be delayed, delayed, and delayed. But the Lord,
Paramananda Prabhu.
Lord had his plans. I had my plans. He had his plans. So we have to learn how to dance, not to resist the strings that's been pulled, which is the most difficult part in our practicing life. It's no doubt we got the grace, but now we're resisting that grace. That is an astonishing part. Something that's being hankered for thousands and millions of years by the yogis is giving so freely to us, and we're resisting that. And Srila Govinda Maharaj, I was listening to one of his talks today in Navadvip, one of his early talks. And Srila Sagar Maharaj was seated next to him. Probably it was 1990, before he started traveling. And his English is actually very simple. And he would always say, oh, I'm so sorry, I cannot speak proper English. But somehow it was so sweet and clear. There was no deficiency in his English skill at all. So whatever he was conveying was very clear, clear like a day. And then he said that our main difficulty is that we don't know how to do obeisances. And obeisances is the solution. Means sacrificing our ego. Now the ego rules in our world, but we want the devotee rule, the Krishna rule in our world, but the ego rules. So Govinda Maharaj is saying that till we know how to pay obeisances, how to give respect, how to be humble, that will not happen. And again, how simple is that? Sounds very simple, or just learn how to do obeisances, but it's not about physical exercise. Like I'm doing push-ups every day. Does that count as an obeisances? I don't think so. Like we had a competition when we were just joined Krishna Consciousness movement. At that time, we had very few senior, I mean, the senior devotees were literally like who joined maximum a year before us. We consider them to be highly advanced devotees, but they also had very little information. So we're thinking about the whole concept behind obeisances. And then some senior devotees said, oh, you have to learn how to do dandavats. And we're like, what is that? And then he's saying, here in the scriptures, it is said, we have to fall like a rod, like a stick on the ground in front of the divine representation. And we're okay, we're gonna try it. And we started the competition. So we had this Guru Puja to Srila Prabhupada every morning, and then the brahmacharis would come forward and they will try to fall like a stick. And really, I mean, it was, if I'm going to describe now, you may have a nightmare. Because they were not using their hands face down on the hardwood floor. I don't want to mention, but we had to clean up the mess every morning. And that was going on for a while. Who hits the harder pays the most quality obeisances. Somehow I wasn't a part of that. Maybe because I'm so selfish, I didn't want to squash my nose doing that. But I was safe from that competition, but pretty much everybody participated. Till years after, we learned what it means to pay obeisances. It's not a matter of physical posture or exercise, even though there is a description like that in the Shastra. There is some external aspect to that, but it's the mood. We can be paying obeisances through the whole day while being engaged in seva. So it's all about the mood, the proper mood. We're serving, we're acting, we're living our life. In that case, we can always be in an infinite obeisances. And that is the safe position, Govinda Maharaj was saying. And all our problems, all our obstacles, they're coming from our lack of understanding of that. Really, it's that simple. Krishna consciousness is very simple. I've been thinking about Srila Guru Maharaj's statement that all you need is a sincere hankering, sincere desire. And it is so. Actually, it's just that. Like both Kumkum Devi, Srilekha were saying that it's all gracious grant. And we have to understand that nothing can attract his grace. None of our doing can attract his grace. And I have to say just a little on the side that somehow, I mean, I'm not propagating that, but somehow our fallen position in this particular age is also our qualification. I'm not saying everybody have to continue being falling or fall even harder. No, but that somehow attracts the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu in this particular time. But it doesn't mean we have to be there. Like the child have to learn how to walk one day. Anyhow, that's something different I was talking about. So nothing we can do to attract the grace of the Lord. It is descending. It is at his disposal. If he wishes so, then he will give that grace. And when you start thinking about it, then maybe, and at some point, also Govinda Maharaj said that, it's very important to understand the extent of our fortune. What fortune come to us? What did we receive? It's very important to come to some kind of realization of its value. And it will help us immensely on our path. Just thinking about that. So there's this verse, famous verse, everybody heard of. Brahmanda Brahmite Kon Bhagavanji. And one way to interpret it, that due to accumulation of good fortune, a sincere soul starts asking questions, who I am, why I'm here, what it's all about. And then due to that, the grace is shown to the devotee of the Lord. But even that is not 100% true. To accumulate that good fortune, you also need grace. So every action, behind every action, behind every manifestation, every act is the grace of the Lord. So it's not just the bare accumulation that can take you there. No, every particle of that Sukriti is also the grant. And when we have enough, then we start asking, oh, who is Krishna? Who am I? Is there a God? Is there something more to that? Because I think there is something more. And I feel I'm in the wrong place. I feel there is someone who is beautiful, who is love personified. Gurudev said, he must be. That reality we're searching for, it must be beautiful. He's quoting Guru Maharaj. So when that happens, then the grace may come to us. Again, there is no guarantee. But we're praying for that. But is it, and the beautiful verses of Srila Rupa Goswami describing Lalita Sakhi. When Krishna is busy, we have to keep that in mind. He's very busy. He is not the giver of that grace, like, directly. It's always coming through his servitor, who are desperate in their attempts to serve him more. And they're also desperate in their attempt to recruit more servitors. He is infinite, so the quantity of servitors is also infinite, and their desire to serve is infinite. So it is by their grace we're recruited. And in one of the verses, Yam Kamapi Vrajakuleya Prishabhana Jaya, he is saying that what is the mood of Lalita Sakhi? He's glorifying Lalita Sakhi. One of her main engagement, besides serving the divine couple, is to always be on look, searching for the sincere souls. And if she perceives there's at least a little bit in the heart, little bit attraction in the heart of the particular jiva, immediately she recruits that soul. And on infinite plane, it happens infinitely, described like it happens immediately. But we have to remember that time and space have no place in that world. So we are actually being recruited there. And Srila Guru Maharaj confirms that. And the faster we realize our fortune, the faster we will assist those higher devotees in their service. And the faster we will be utilized in that service, used in that service, and giving a place in that service. Wherever we are, it doesn't matter. What matters is that connection. The place doesn't matter. Krishna is everywhere. If he wants us to go to hell, we'll go to hell. But on a mission, we want to be in a hell, no problem. But there must be some service connection there. Then I go there. Everything we do must have some service purpose. If there is no purpose, it's useless, it's whimsical, it's our own mind's doing. Anyway, we can say so many things about it, but it comes to us as individuals when we're practicing Krishna consciousness to do this kind of self-analysis. What is our mood? What am I doing it for? Etc., etc., etc. It's a daily engagement, like with daily chanting japa. What's the Sanskrit for that? The self-analysis? Anyone remembers? Srilekha Didi?
Sushamiksha.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So here we go.
Sushamiksha mano.
Right. So we are to analyze ourselves and not to analyze anything else. And not to analyze or criticize anybody or the environment around us. We are to analyze the environment in the connection that what Krishna wants us from, whatever he is showing to us, what surrounds us, what is his desire. Because every moment, every particle of the environment is filled with the expression of his divine will. He always wants something. He's Bhavagrahi Janardana. He wants love. He wants that bhav. He wants to mind the hearts of jivas. So the whole environment is penetrated and filled with the expressions of his divine will, divine desire. So there we have to look, not in the mood of, not in a calculative or exploiting mood, but what Krishna wants from me. What is he showing me by this or by that? Really, it's, the process is so beautiful in the end. Very attractive, very beautiful, infinitely deep, infinitely filled with love, filled with affection, and we don't even know what it means. Like Govinda Maharaj once said, we're saying love and affection, love and affection, love and affection. So much for using these two words. But what it means, one will know only when he gets the taste for Krishna consciousness, the ruchi. On that stage, the person will really understand what the love means, what the affection means, attraction means. But something is coming to us, we cannot deny. Like once I expressed this to Govinda Maharaj. He was saying that, oh, I want to give you some service, you must accept that. And I said, no, Maharaj, I am not qualified for that. Zero qualification. And he looked at me surprised. And he asked me, how long you been with me? And I said, well, this much. And then he leaned and he looked in my eyes and said, are you saying that I'm not a qualified spiritual master? And I said, of course not, Govinda Maharaj, I'm not saying that. Then he smiled and said, then you must have got something. And whatever you got, you use that. And all of us got something. So we can deny we don't have anything, but we cannot deny our guardians are of the top quality. We cannot deny they have capacity to give it, to implant it in our hearts. So we can stop being so-called humble. Humility doesn't mean we deny the service. Humility means we accept the service if it comes to us and we try our best. If we say, no, I'm not qualified, I'm not going to do that, we find someone who is more qualified, I'm so humble, no, please, maybe later. No, you accept and you think how you're going to do it according to your capacity, the best way you can. That is a humility proper. Every expression of the Lord's will must be accepted with bow down head and try your best. And that's another expression of Guru Maharaj. True humility means to be ready for the expressions of the infinite wills of the Lord. Something along those lines. I think Srilekha may know the exact quote.
Infinite possibility.
Infinite possibilities means, what are the possibilities? I mean, they're not our possibilities, they're his possibilities. He is busy arranging his lila. Anyhow, I better keep quiet and let other devotees, Bimal Krishna Prabhu and Ishtadevika.
Dandavats. How do I follow everything that's been said tonight? I mean, I can say something. I'm the one that everyone's trying to put off, the inauspicious thing, but I don't know, just a few thoughts for me. I mean, Paramananda Prabhu speaking about obeisances, it really just took me back to how, when you're first practicing Krishna consciousness, like when I came to Krishna consciousness, I remember the first time, offering obeisances and just how foreign and strange it felt to do something like that, because it was so, I mean, I came from more of like a Christian background, I guess, with the like Mormon faith or LDS faith, but so like kneeling to pray or something seemed, that was fairly normal, but to fully bow and to like lay down, to offer yourself in that way was so foreign to me. And I remember, like, it is like an ego thing. It's like fighting yourself because it feels so foreign to give yourself like that. It's a strange feeling anyway, but I just kind of remember that the very first time doing it and just feeling sort of strange about it, but now it seems so natural. And I mean, anyone, if you've been near greatness, it's just the most natural thing you can do. Like if you're around Gurudev, it's totally natural to bow down to Gurudev because you're sensing like something great there, and it's in his humility and everything else. It's not that he demands it, but just in a different way he does, in a sense, just by his own personality. Like and anyone feels that, like when you're around something very big, you feel really small. And when I get around the devotees, I tend to feel really small. And I'm a big guy too, so my physical body. But anyway, I feel really small. But that's just one thing I was thinking about. Also speaking about criticizing, devotees and different things. just a personal thing for myself. I've heard some, you know, devotees criticizing other devotees, or at least that's kind of how I took it. And we have to be really careful, especially around other devotees, because I think you can really damage your faith. You know, when you hear somebody speaking about something negative about somebody else, it can really damage your faith in that person. You know, even the person criticizing, but then you start thinking about, you know, it's just not a good place to go. And myself personally, there's like a long time ago, I feel like my faith was kind of damaged by hearing criticism, and it's probably my own misunderstanding of the situation because I don't know everything that's involved. But anyway, it just a reminder that I think, you know, we should be very careful about what we say. We should always try to see the good qualities. And just something that came to my mind, because you know, it's my own misunderstanding, and it's all, you know, it's my own fault in some way that things happened the way they did. And kind of, you know, I drifted for some time, and just by the grace of Gurudev and the devotees, I feel like they always try to keep some connection, and that's my good fortune. So, you know, I'm here now, and I'm trying to move forward. But anyway, criticism can be really dangerous, and that's kind of what I wanted to say. But my dandavats to you all.
I just thought of a sweet little thing that happened recently when he was talking about the dandavats and, you know, learning to offer that, and how, and I had a similar experience of it feeling, you know, foreign and strange initially. And there was a really sweet moment recently. I mean, our children have grown up with that being a part of our life. So for them, it's, I think, a little bit different. But we were watching, you know, a lot of talks by Gurudev, and our children are used to seeing, you know, we have an altar with all of, you know, the Guru Parampara on all the pictures, but they've seen more and heard more specifically of Gurudev, Govinda Maharaj. And we were watching a Guru Maharaj video more recently. We found some of those, and you know, they hadn't heard or seen them as much. And our little 6-year-old was just playing with her toys nearby, and she gets up to leave the room, and she goes, "Oh!" And she's like, just offers dandavats to Guru Maharaj, speaking on the TV, you know, on the video, and then goes to do what she was doing. But it just was just so precious and sweet and sincere. She's just like, "Oh, I'm like leaving Guru Maharaj's presence. You know, I need to offer dandavats." And it just, I had this moment of like, I just wonder, like maybe she was a disciple of Guru Maharaj in her last life. And there's no way for me to know that, but there was just this, even though she hadn't had a lot of direct experience seeing him or hearing about him, like she felt and knew somehow like who he was, and that was what, you know, she needed to do before leaving the room. And it was, anyway, that was just really sweet and inspiring to me. Like when I see this natural devotion in my children, it's just such an amazing, beautiful thing. And it inspires me to keep going, you know, for their sake and supporting them and their spiritual life. And yeah, anyways, that's all.
Thank you. Very beautiful contribution. And a big welcome to Dana K, Nazar Prabhu, Rupanunga Prabhu also. So nice to be here with you. So I don't know if someone has a question or some comments, and I was thinking about this question, like maybe I can do this question. And okay, there's a comment here by Muktinath. Oh no, okay, anyway. So I have this question. Maybe I don't know. I can do Srilekha, Kumkum, Paramananda. I can say something. We have it's related with our anarthas. We have these misconceptions inside of us, and something that we cannot understand. Even we can listen every day. The message is very clear, but we cannot change, or even if you understand, we cannot change the bad habits and everything. And what is the solution for that? Why we cannot change? And what can we do? Because it's beyond our capacity. Something like this. Maybe you can say something, Srilekha. I don't know. I was having this discussion with the devotee the other day, but
I know all about anarthas, so it's a good question. I'm an expert. I can write an encyclopedia about anarthas. There's two things. One is enthusiasm and one is patience. And the third thing is lolium. Lolium is given as a destroyer of bhakti in Upadeshamritam, but there's also that tattva. This lolium means an extreme hankering. And when we're feeling, when we're feeling discouraged, we can pray. And also when the Lord is giving us a situation which is really, really difficult, that will increase our lolium, our hankering, and our necessity for taking shelter. Sometimes we got it all together, we got it all organized, we do this, we got the spiritual life looking like this and this and that, and I think I've got it. And then antithesis will come to challenge my present understanding. And when that happens, suddenly all the songs in the songbook come to life. And the necessity for taking shelter of the Lord comes strong. So we are looking forward to those challenges, not to become discouraged. Things are not going to change overnight, and we don't know what they're changing into. So when we conceive of having no anartha, we don't know what that means. So these things are coming, these transformations will come through our desperation. And so if we don't feel desperate, then what do? We become desperate for desperation. Like Srila Prabhupada said, if you must always pray. We have our affectionate guardian. And if you can't pray, then pray to pray. And if you can't pray to pray, then pray to pray to pray. So we have no fear at all. And if we feel that we are slipping and something's dangerous, then get desperate. Just get desperate. And if we can't get desperate, then get desperate to get desperate. Pray for desperation. Anyway, that's just a little thing from me, but we want to hear from Kumkum Devi and Paramananda Prabhu.
Kumkum, a few words, please.
This answer that Srilekha Didi has given is vital. And I was thinking about the question is vital. I could tell you a lot about not even realizing my anarthas. And so to ask the question, what on earth do I do about these terrible anarthas that won't leave me, is a huge step. And this is very, very attractive to those to receive the grace of the Guru. And these answers of how to guide us, so to give up the anarthas and accept more wholeheartedly the great qualities that come from our practice of Krishna consciousness, and to be praying for that direction, for that kind of progress within our heart, is a lot more likely to come when we're not even expecting it. So this is one reason we're encouraged to never quarrel with the environment, because it can come to us from the external, what appears to be external, but is in fact actually coming directly from Krishna by his arrangement to stop us from going in a wrong direction. There's an example of, in the same way that the Pujari has these articles that can be beautiful when they are highly polished, but the Pujari is scrubbing like anything to reveal that beauty, to remove the tarnish. And so if we think that some difficulty is coming to us, if we can recognize this is scrubbing. So Krishna is using these things which I will respond to. If only I would respond to praying more wholeheartedly, to accept the holy names and pay close attention to the qualities of the great saints. If only that's what I would do, then my progress would be a lot more quick and sure. But what I relate to, this world, I draw so many things to me that are not good, but Krishna can use those very things to make me disappointed, in that wrong direction, to turn me in the better direction. So this will be part of his grace, and will help us very much to be steadfast at the Vaishnava's lotus feet. Then the anarthas they'll be like the amount of water that is in the hoof print of a calf. We can easily step over that amount of water, rather than the giant ocean. If we're trying to do it ourselves, we'll never make it. But when he's taking care of, if we desire it, even if we're not so conscious that that's what we desire, but if we do desire it, then he will make the arrangement where we can't succeed in any other way except to surrender to him. Yay.
Paramananda Prabhu, few words, please.
Now, it's been already beautifully expressed by both Srilekha Didi, Kumkum Didi. And it's a highly individual process, how we deal with that. It's our own path. We cannot copy each other. But there are some general directions that are given by the guardians and the scriptures that we are to keep in mind, like a guidelines. And in the conversation with Srila Govinda Maharaj, once he mentioned to me that I know that many of my disciples not following properly, all sorts of things they're doing, but I do not care about that. I care if they're loyal to me and chaste to me, and if they are, all those habits, all those anarthas will naturally disappear. So it's actually quite simple. There's a reason why we're accepting the guardian, the spiritual master, the guide, to follow him. We're not inquiring. It's not an inquiry counter, like Srila Guru Maharaj used to say. We're coming to surrender. And surrender means you're going to do whatever they say. Like Srila Govinda Maharaj, he faced that choice in the very beginning. I think maybe the very first day he joined. And Guru Maharaj inquired from him, are you here to join? He said, yes, of course. What else? He's very strong young man, strong-willed young man. Then Guru Maharaj said, good. Are you ready to follow me and not your mind? And then Guru Maharaj said, yes. But you see, it's not that easy in the practice, because again, what we were talking about today, our ego. So ego is the main problem. Egocentric life, not Krishna-centric life, not God-centric life. And without being absolutely clean, it's difficult to serve. Actually, it's impossible. There's so many verses pointing in that direction. They're saying you must be clean. Sarvapadi vinirmuktatat paratvana nirmalam krishikena krishikesha savayam bhakti ruchite. Then Anyabilashita Shunyam Gana Karma Navritam Anukuliyana Krishna Anushilvam Bhakti Uttamam. So they're all saying that you must become clean. And then when you're in such condition, then yes, you can be properly utilized. You can enter that world. Then Krishna will accept you as one. So many points are said. But to deal with this is like Srilekha did said, we must pray. It's impossible otherwise. Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita himself, it's impossible to conquer your mind and senses on your own. You must surrender to me. There you will be free from their influence. So again, we come to the same aspect. To deal with the anarthas, you have to learn how to surrender. And that itself will solve the problem. The more you surrender, the less power they have over you. The less they influence in your life, the less they become a part of your life. And we have so many. Otherwise, why is everybody saying Krishna consciousness is so easy and we are not yet fully Krishna conscious? There must be a reason for that. So those anarthas are pulling us back. And then at some point, devotees were complaining, we have so much weight of those chains, karmic chains. We're chained by them. What to do? It's like a boat who is being anchored to the shore, and then person gets in and starts roaming, and he rows with his full power, but the boat is not moving anywhere because those attachments. And Guru Maharaj said, we shouldn't be, what was his word? Discouraged. We shouldn't be discouraged by that. We should look forward, not look back, and pray. Pray for the mercy, pray for the grace. And Srila Rupa Goswami, Sri Upadeshamritam, he gives this perfect advice. He actually points out, this is the Upadesha Saram. This is the essence of all the instructions. There is nothing else to hear. Follow that. And he is saying, Yat Krishna Nama Charitadya Sakirtanana. Smityo Kramena Rasana Manasini Yoja Tishtam Brajetat Anuragi Jananugami Kalam Nait Akilam It Upadeshisaram. Very simple. Chant the glories of Krishna, talk about his Leela. Remember his Leela, remember his qualities. Always think of him. Be in the company of those who have taste for such things. By doing that, automatically you will reside in a holy place. The place that due association with those personalities will purify you from those contaminations. And this is my advice for all times to come. Kalam nayad akilam it upadesha saram. That's it. And that's what Upadeshamrita is all about. And from there, when you realize that situation, then Rupa Goswami takes you further. And then he talks about the gradations of the different divine planes of consciousness. From there only. So that's why, actually, my remembrance of Upadeshamrita stops right there. I don't remember the other three verses. I was thinking, for what? I mean, really. I'm still like on the first verse, and I'm failing every time I'm trying to follow it. What's the first one? Vacha Vegam, Manasa Krasa Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udara Prahasta Vegam. I'm failing there, so what to speak of the final verses? So what is the point? So I better take the shelter of those who actually possess that wealth and pray to be in their company, walk on the same path with them. Because if I fall, they will help me to get out. And that's again another point Guru Maharaj makes. It's in his talk, it's in the video, it's recorded. He says, It's fundamental to have friends in Krishna consciousness, senior friends, walking on the same path, because they can assist you in the time of difficulty. Anyway, I think we're over time already.
Have a raised hand. Vimal Krishna Prabhu.
This is what I do, right? I apologize. This is just a quick thing. It's a paragraph by Srila Gurudev. It's from Revealed Truth, and I read it, and it really helped me with the same questions, because like we all go through these same things, but chapter 13 really helped me. But this is just a quick paragraph. It's a little subtitle is Mercy and Service Equals Sense Control. But Gurudev says, earlier in our life, it was not within my realization, but now I am realizing this very happy news for us. Parityage Pyanishvara. We cannot leave our internal enemies forever. From time to time, our internal enemies will disturb us. Sometimes we will be submerged in them. I can understand now that such immersion is for our purification, and that we will not remain immersed in them forever. This is our position, and all we can do is try to not allow ourselves to always be a servant of our mundane desires. We will pray to the Lord for his mercy and try to engage in his service. And then it goes on, but just hearing Gurudev say that, it gives so much encouragement, to all of us. And I just wanted to share that. But chapter 13 in Revealed Truth is really sweet. Dandavats.
Jai.
Prabhu, also in the chat, Seva Didi has pasted one link which we could all open up and then read later. It looks very important.
Good. Yeah, always Sevarupa, efficient, giving that guidance. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, maybe you can copy the link, because after the closing the meeting, I'm going to copy here, then I can read later. Copy link. Yeah, I think we're done for today. Hope Maharaj is okay. He's coming tomorrow. It's our last day. Yeah, actually tomorrow. No, it's already today. It's midnight here. Today is the last day. He's going back to Europe, and we're going to miss him a lot here in Brazil. 2 weeks, 2 intense weeks here in Brazil. Amazing tour, and we're really happy. We cannot even describe with words. All the Brazilian devotees are really nourished and ready to go more and more. So all glories to him. Jai Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakshada Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Upanuga Gurvaga ki Jai. Natakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Namachar Srila Das Thakur ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Sarasvata Charya Vrinda ki Jai. Jai Kumkum Devi ki Jai. Srilekha Didi ki Jai. Paramananda Prabhu ki Jai. Vimal Krishna Prabhu ki Jai. Tadevika Didi ki Jai. All assembled devotees ki Jai. Nam Sankirtan ki Jai. Nitagora Paramanande Hari.
Lilamoy Prabhu, thank you so much for sharing this tour with us. I really feel like I'm just super nourished by hearing all of that. Dandavats.
Amazing. Advancha kalpatarvisha kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. See you soon. Thank you very much, everyone. Hare Krishna. Hari Hari Bo.